Hello, good afternoon once again, and welcome back to our election watch. And it is Ondo State Decides 2024. My name is Melanie Ishola, and I'm joined this afternoon by Imoleayo Oyedeyi and Mohammed Lawal. And let me first welcome Mohammed Lawal because it's been such a long time Mohammed and I did something like this. So good to have you once again on this platform. Oh, great. And Imoleayo that I have, should I cast you on national television? But of course, always an amazing colleague, and they bring their wealth of reporting experience onto the conversation today, talking about what we've all reported on at Punch newspapers, and equally what's our analysis and our estimation of the election going on in and at Ondo State today is, I beg your pardon, I'm quite not over the Edo State elections of September. Now, moving on, I'd like to, first of all, Imoleayo, you're starting with you, gain your understanding of how you've assessed the election ongoing in Ondo State so far, from INEC's preparedness point of view, from the people's turnout point of view, and from actual happenings at the polling booths point of view.
Well, I think from what we've seen so far, I think the election has seen an appreciable level of turnout. Though we've not recorded huge number of level of violence as we used to know in the past, though there were reported gunshots in some parts of Ondo State. But I think so far the election has been peaceful. But I want to believe that in the next few hours, the election may become much more tensed, because by that time the results will start trickling in. You start seeing, right. That is when, we see things like ballot snatching, quite in most of the polling units, maybe some of them will just be maybe advancing in voting now, some of them, because they initially had to do the accreditation before they start the proper voting. So in the next few hours, I believe that we may start seeing some tens of, some clips of violence in the next few hours. But presently now, things has been peaceful, except for some few areas. But I want to believe that Ondo State election, in fact, from what we've read in the days before now, I don't think the election should be violent, because everybody knows that it's between two brothers that are from the same local government,
district,
from the same local government.
Local government, even?
Yes, from the same local government.
I only narrowed them down to senatorial district, Ondo South, the Ilaje.
Yes, Ondo local government.
Local government. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so he did say this was not an election that we anticipated would be violent, and quite frankly, up until this moment, there hasn't been that tension, right? Although pockets of things were heard about gunshots and whatnot. However, let me know what your assessment is regarding what has happened so far today, and I'd like for you to go possibly the particular area of how you assess INEC and the materials and the functionalities of these materials, voting materials, and what's not so far.
Yeah, thank you. So that I do not like to compare, Nigeria's election with other climes. Does not mean that I shouldn't say what it is. You understand? At this point in time, that we still have to start trying to, to guide our words in order not to actually tackle the INEC or say the truth is really very bad. You see, why is it that by now, as of now, of today, we still have us debating about, is there violence, is there this, is there that. Look at USA America. This is just, Ondo election is just 1.7 million voters, and then we can't even conduct a very simple election. We still have to start debating. Now, I think by now we should be talking about, Ajayi is leading. That's why it's leading. But now we are talking about, we have reduced ourselves into believing, is INEC doing well?
Is INEC not doing well? Is there violence? Is there no violence? Are people casting votes? Are people not casting votes?
Asking of these questions simply tells us that the INEC is not doing well.
So practically, you would a journalist would ask these questions because essentially you would look at the prevailing arguments of the day. What have been the prevailing thoughts? What have been the prevailing reports, right? Look all through the internet, look all through the papers. These are the things we report. And I really strongly go with your thought on why should we be reduced to this? When, matter of fact, since the last general election, we've had several other elections.
Yes, off-cycle
elections. This is the third.
Yeah.
Whereby INEC could use to test their processes, get better, and keep improving the process. So for you now, would you say this is a huge disappointment for INEC?
I'm disappointed.
Or you think they made progress?
As Nigerian, I am disappointed that at this point of the of the day we are still discussing something we should have left in the past. Must every election for us be a litmus test? Must we keep seeing it as okay? Let us test strong. I think INEC needs to do better. And as of yesterday, they were still telling us that they are ready to get the election right, that they will do their best to. Even the candidates themselves are complaining about the beavers,
absolutely,
about this, about that. I still received calls from friends talking about, even as of yesterday, DSS, caught someone trying to put 2 big Ghana muscle bag at it.
Was that yesterday? I thought this was today.
So, I want to be correct.
Yes.
Today,
yes, 2 big Ghana must go bag of money.
It's even funny that
it's money that is
funny that even the security apparatuses have been reduced, to doing. DSS is not going to do such. There are a lot of things to say concerning this election.
Yes.
Let us just leave it.
No, we cannot leave it. That's why we came like this. That's why we are taking our matters on the table, right? Pardon that tautology. Okay, so Imole, Mohammed, let me call you in full Imole. Now, Mohammed did say a lot, right? And I do not know if you agree or if you do not, but I equally wanted you to move on to the essential parts of INEC's functionality in conducting this election successfully. It would be adjudged a successful election beyond the proper workings of the materials and machines today. Would then be talking about the transparent transmission, right, of the election results to the degree that the people can say, indeed, this is how we voted. How do you see this playing out with what we recorded and reported?
You know that before this election, INEC came out to say that they will not repeat the failures recorded during the Ondo election. That means they also admitted that the last election they conducted was a shambles. So now this is another election, and we've already, in fact, the PDP governorship candidate complained that INEC disappointed him because, he went there to vote and the beavers maybe took time before he could capture him. So just like he said, I don't think at this stage we should be seeing technical issues like this in our elections, because now if we are seeing this in the beginning of the election, what are we going to see when it is time to collate results? And that is when the tension will rise. Yes. That is when you start seeing different reactions. Because when we start seeing technical glitches in the beginning of the election, when ordinarily I don't think there should be any problem in capturing.
Absolutely. We do captures every time.
Now, he was saying that if INEC could be having difficulty in capturing me a governorship candidate, how much more somebody that is not
just a nominal.
So what happened? So
a nominal citizen.
I foresee tension later today. By the time INEC start collating the result, by the time the results start trickling, because expectations of the people are, for some people, they believe that this election it will have been a one-man show, if not for Agbola being a very strong and a grassroots politician. But you never can tell. Now, once you have the federal might, once you have your money bag, once you have a compromise election umpire, you have the day. So
okay. There's a whole lot you both have said, but I equally want us to advance this conversation a bit, and it's on where you ended. So when we say, and I've read in papers where it was said that so it would be the first time if Ayedatiwa wins, it would be the first time a political party is ruling Ondo State for more than 8 years. And of course, it was even reported that this was supposed to be like an expected end. And then I asked myself, when did we start attaching predictability to incumbency? So, you know, we talk about the power of incumbency as though it's an infallible principle. As soon as you are on the seat, nobody can unseat you. Should that be? What about the voice of the people, the decision of the people? Is that not what we essentially should be talking to at this time, Mohammed?
I think this is not new to me, you know, using River State as example and Lagos State, you understand? So I think the people themselves, you know, are guilty of this kind of order, you understand? By the time that you are being given money, you know, when you are being given money, and the next thing you do is that you submit yourself easily to people who are there to just, after, you know, designing, playing with your head, and just submit to them. So I believe that when Nigerians are ready to elect the people who will actually work for them, they will stand up to their toes to getting it right.
How easy is it to stand up at this time? If you say they submit themselves to collecting money, Mohammed, we all know what the nation speaks today. Now let's be factual, and I'm not asking myself, but I would just put myself in there. Would I not collect money? If I had a child who hasn't eaten in the house, and I'm offered a derika of rice, practically, and I'm offered a derika of rice, and then maybe some 2,000 naira to go with it, where I can buy a kweko, or how does my mother put that? Does 2,000 naira even buy fish anymore? You cannot even buy fish with it anymore.
So you will think about you should think about the short grief, you know, than the long time you'll have to suffer. You know, you know, these people they are there to spend more than 4 years, and you have to eat just
1 meal.
You know,
but at least I'll survive on that 1 meal in Malaya. And open where the next one will come from.
Subsequently, you start chasing the convoy.
Bro, they didn't power out like it happened last year, December in Lagos. Okay, thank you so much. So, I'm looking into the promises made, and essentially, I want to ask you who you think is likely to win. That's where I'm going. At this juncture, we need to start looking at facts and figures we already have, from how we see the turnout, in whose favor we foresee the turnout, right? And who amongst the two, and maybe by extension the three, some have put up and said, well, maybe it's not a 2-horse race, it possibly could be a 3-horse race. And maybe it's predicated on the fame of the former governor of Ondo State, Mimiko, whose brother, Abbas Mimiko, is riding under the Zenith Labour Party, right, to run for governor. And some have said, maybe it's a 3-horse race, right? But whichever it is, in your own estimation, and I start with you, Imole, where do you think that this pendulum swings?
Well, to me, I see it as, you know, when it comes to politics in Nigeria, we have two power of incumbency on 2 levels. We have those at the federal level and we have those at the state level. Now, we shouldn't forget the fact that the recently conducted election in Edo State, a sitting party was actually defeated.
Absolutely.
A sitting party was actually, that means the federal power of incumbency actually defeated the state power of incumbency. So the fact that the APC controls the center does not mean that fine, they will win, because Sheyi Makinde was a PDP, you know, under the PDP party. He actually defeated the ruling party in Oyo State, APC, while the APC...
states where they would say, can see in your leg.
You understand? So, and he defeated the APC. So I think it goes beyond just the power of incumbency now to the character and the strength of the candidates themselves. Because the truth is that, but for Ondo State is unique in the sense that both the APC man and the PDP man, they came from the same local government. And this same local government historically has been the local government that provides the highest number of votes in Ondo elections, Ondo South. Most times they usually determine the direction, the winners. So now the two candidates are coming from that same zone.
Would that not work in their disfavor? Mohammed, no. You know,
could that not work in who?
Yes. What? I mean, so both of us are strong contenders, but we're from the same family, and there are other families in this race from other parts of the community. If we divide the vote coming from our area, and there is no unison among the people of our community as to this should be our son at this time, then does that not give leverage to any body on the other 15 political parties who may seem to be a near, strong contender to then swing across the state and get something phenomenal? You just never tell. I think this is just how I'm looking at this. It doesn't matter, does it not, at this point?
I think if you're just looking at it from that angle, truly Mimiko is a strong political figure in the state, but it is obvious that these
two, Agbola and
between the two of them. And again, I think I'm not saying that Aiyedatiwa is going to win, the electorate will decide that. But the thing is that you have to see that there is a sympathy vote that will come for Aiyedatiwa because of the former governor, the lead former governor is understand. Don't forget that we should just take away the aspect of his wife from this matter. But if you look at it, people are really coming together to support Aiyedatiwa in order to what? To see it as a way of replicating the existence of
Rotimi Akeredolu. But wasn't Agbola also a part, or isn't Agbola also a part of Rotimi Akeredolu's legacy? I do know that things didn't all go well at the end of the first tenure of Rotimi Akeredolu, the late Rotimi Akeredolu, that made for another choice of deputy governor in his second term. However, like it, hate it, in my opinion, it's equally a part of the legacy. But do the people see him like that?
People will definitely look at we Nigerians, we are very emotional. Look at let us use Edo state as an issue now. Look at what you actually during the time when he has an altercation with Godwin Obaseki. You see that people, they started to castrate him. They said he's not good, he's fighting with his boss, they saw him as a betrayer, you understand? So the same thing now is happening to Agbola. They see him as someone who has betrayed his boss, you understand? And Aiyedatiwa is now, the good person they see, and they want to use
the villain and the victim they say now, right? But I'm hoping we're not playing that card, because we then need to be able to see people as people, who they are and what they bring to the table. This quickly drags me to what promises have been made by these people. Maybe we should just narrow it to just the PDP candidate Agbola and the APC candidate Lucky Aiyedatiwa. What are the promises on the table for the people of Ondo State? If they were to actually make informed decisions, what has been promised?
Well, to me, I really believe that this election, what I think will really speak greatly, aside the promise now, because if you look at our elections in this country, electioneering promises does not really decide the direction of vote. People don't really listen. In fact, by the time those that spend heavily on campaign are those that lose. They are the one that record the highest number of losses. So our people don't really look at what you tell them. Most times what they see is what you offer them on the polling at the polling booths.
Back to the money politics.
You understand? So already now what I think may work against Agbola is just that, Aiyedatiwa has the war chest of the federal might to support his campaign. Now, but in terms of money, there's no how the PDP could match whatever the APC will be offering the voters on the polling unit. So I see the APC, using that war chest through the federal level and the state level, but if they are to say, let's leave aside vote buying, let's leave aside
the
two candidates. As gastro-politicians, Agbola is well ahead of Aiyedatiwa. It's just that your people may not like you, but the fact is that when it comes to your area, they still want you. You are still on ground. Aiyedatiwa is just somebody that is just coming in. But Agbola has been on ground, he has been he knows in and out of politics in Ondo State. So that was why it was even very, very hard for Akeredolu to use the National Assembly to impeach Agbola.
Yes.
He tried, he could not, because the man, he has the support and the loyalty of all the National Assembly members.
Imolia, you rightly said, but I think this is now a test for the people who seem to claim to love and support Agbola, that would be, to now come to the aid of Agbola, but then coming to the aid of Agbola or not, coming to the aid of Lucky Ayedatiwa or not, that's not the subject of deliberation. It's really about governance. And when we look at what governance is, Lucky Ayedatiwa has had a few moments in governance until this moment. And I really want us to look into that a little bit. Mohammed, how do you assess his administration, his leadership, and possibly acceptance? I know you had said there is the pity and empathy. What's the word you used again? Sympathy. Yes, coming from his former boss, right? But then, so far so good. How has it been for Ayedatiwa leading Ondo State? Yes, Ayedatiwa.
You know, there's something about Nigeria. You understand? If the government is doing well, you surely see it. You know, we Nigerians definitely. We'll
sing about it. We'll talk about it.
You see that since the time of his late boss, we've not really heard of him. We've not heard him doing anything particularly, although I'm just saying from...
Could he be fighting internal battles? I do understand that there were a lot of rancor.
I think
when the boss died, I think he was having issue with the boss's wife then, so it was obvious, you know. Even as of 2 days ago, we saw the wife coming up on Twitter lamenting, and then if you look at the words she was bringing out, it was kind of encrypted, trying to, you know, in reference to the Ondo election today. You understand? So to me, we can't actually say, you know, Akedolu has had its own plan before, you know,
death came.
You understand? So we can't really crucify him for not doing anything, but he didn't really do anything, so to say. You know, during the debates between him and Agbola, you see that Agbola was there, you know, giving him back-to-back that. What have you done so far? Even in your hometown, the road is not good. And he was bringing everything, and the man himself could not actually defend. What he was just saying in response to Agbola was that, hey, did you do this thing when you were the DG or something, you know? So tell you that these people, they don't know what they are doing, you understand? So to say, even the 4 years doesn't even guarantee that when he gets there or the other one gets there, they are going to do anything.
So we don't know for sure. we don't know for sure. Okay, thank you so much. Of course, there is still a whole lot to say, but the matter still remains. Ondo State is voting. And as of now, there's been a lot of complaints about how certain irregularities have plagued the materials of INEC across some polling booths of Ondo State. But I equally want to touch on the fact that Ogun State is equally conducting a local government election. And whether you like it or not, there's been a lot of not so good reports about the Ogun State local government elections. And it is worth talking about. I wasn't going to talk about it. This was just supposed to be about Ondo State. But in closing, really, I recall seeing a report of, that would be NAN, National News Agency of Nigeria, saying that voter apathy, logistics challenges, Ma Ogun, LG post. That headline alone gives a lot away. And then we have a correspondent, Sefiu Olabode, who is on the field right now in Ogun State, moving from polling booth to polling booth. And a lot of the videos is sent in. I've actually spoken to people saying there's no readiness. We have been here. There is no this, no material. And you know, I do realize also that there will be polling booths and areas where there are materials and things are going smoothly. But the question would remain, and I'm bringing a conversation lastly on the agency saddled with the responsibility of delivering for us a democracy that works. Because a democracy that works will then begin with our ability to use our power, our vote, to determine what happens to us. Shall we continue to go like this with the INEC's posture towards election? Is this all that is possible with the INEC's delivery of election? This is just local government election in one state. There are 36 states in Nigeria. What if these local government elections held across the 36 states of Nigeria? What would we have? So in closing, gentlemen, starting with you, Moleyo, I'd like for you to speak to this as we speak to the entire posture of the electoral umpire in the country.
Now, what I just need to make is that, you know, this local government election is being conducted by the Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, which is under the direct management of the state government. And that is why most times whenever a local government election is conducted in the country, you see the opposition party crying out, because they know that the ruling party in the state takes over the government, takes over the election. So even the people know that whether they come out or they don't come out, the governor has already handpicked his people that will man each of the local government. So the people coming out is just to come out and say, okay, let's fulfill righteousness. They knows that their vote will not count. It just now, how do you equate that when the state governor is the one that controls the state independent electoral commission? How can that umpire be independent?
That is contradictory.
Mohammed, your thoughts on this, please?
Yeah, in a very simple sentence, the thing is that since the local government autonomy, you do not expect the state government, like you have said that they are the one ruling, you don't expect the state government to stand akimbo looking at these people conducting the election, allowing the like of PDP, LP winning the
Abga,
when he knows that
what is at stake, and what is this thing at stake really? The fiscal autonomy of
the allocation. The allocation.
Right. It's all about the money.
It's about the money.
It's all about the money. And so I just see a situation whereby are the people winning? And I think this is a critical question, just as we say goodbyes. Are the people winning? Because in my opinion, it seems that either ways, head or tail, the political class in this country are still winning. How
they are winning.
The people win?
Well, I think the people are not ready. The people are not ready. That's just the truth. And the fact is, one of the people that you say should react has a brother in the state house, has a brother that is maybe essay to the governor. So even the people that you are complaining that you expect to react, they are satisfied with the status quo, because the status quo favors them in one way or the other.
Yeah, as it's being said now, this government will favor me and my family. So Mohammed, lastly, your take on this, please.
The family matter, and I think, but the truth is that we Nigerians, we have to do better. We have to do better. We can't continue this way. You understand? Look at it. Going on the bus. Of course, I'm in a good permanently. You understand? If I'm going now, I will say about 2 persons will be tapping other commuters on the bus that could you please? I'm going to this place.
Can you pay for?
And the same people will still come during the election. They will still vote because of crumbs. At the end of the day, it's still not right. So I don't believe that you just need proper sensitization. And this has to do with the NOA, National Orientation
Agency.
And possibly a multi-agency approach, sectoral,
we have a lot of CSO.
Yes. It's high time we all put all our hands right on deck and say it's time we got this done. So Ondo decides today, of course, if things go to plan, by late evening we should already know who wins the election and whose head the crown would sit. However, if not, of course, tomorrow is another day. We would not be here, but of course, you know that you can get us across all social media platforms, and you can read the best of the news in Nigeria on all Punch newspapers platforms. And of course, if you still love the papers, buy us anywhere you see us. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. Mohammed Lawal and Imole Ayo Oyedeyi. My name is Melanie Ishola. Good afternoon, and you have yourself a fantastic weekend.